Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jalal JIHAZI. Welcome to Morocco English Radio. To talk about the attractiveness of Morocco in the digitalization sector, we are honored to host Mr. Saad KEMMOU, the CEO of Hsabati. Welcome to Morocco English Radio, Saad.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Before we can go and deep dive into the discussion of the digitalization in Morocco, can you please give a short introduction to yourself, to our audience, please?
Of course. Well, I'm the CEO and founder of Hsabati. Hsabati is a management and financing platform for SMBs in Morocco and Middle East and Africa. Basically, I've been in the digital sector in a number of sectors for the past 15 years. Grew up in Morocco, studied in the US. Basically that's who I am.
That's good. So when did you launch Hsabati?
Hsabati, we officially launched in August, if I'm not mistaken, of 2019.
Okay.
But Hsabati has been an idea of mine for a lot longer than that. And before that, we wanted to do a free tool for when I came back from the US. I wanted to launch a free tool for SMBs to run their business, and I have a lot of experience in advertising, so I wanted to do it advertising based. Advertising wasn't going to support the model, and it took some time for me to refine the idea, to put in place, to see what works, what doesn't work, what the real need is, because management platform is it's easy. There's hundreds, there's thousands of them. What was our edge? How are we different? Why should we launch? And we're not gonna launch just to launch.
You know, we see that a lot, Saad, if you allow me. When people, they get an idea of business, it will always stick into your mind, and it always keeps coming back and back again and again and again until one day. Then it's the day when it happens, right?
Exactly.
And it's 2019, yeah?
Exactly.
So you guys launched Hsabati in 2019. It was, as you mentioned, a couple of months before COVID, if I'm really calling it.
Exactly.
Okay.
COVID hit, if I'm not mistaken, in March of 2020.
Yep,
Yes.
absolutely. Was there an impact, or did it actually impact your business launch?
Of course. We actually had to pivot for a little bit. We launched a platform called Shopee, which is an e-commerce enabler. So people could create their own e-commerce websites for very cheap, very fast, migrate their sales from physical stores to online stores. Unfortunately, the market wasn't there. There's a lot of education that needed to go through, and we didn't have the scale, we didn't have the money to do that. So all the while, Hsabati kept growing. Even though we weren't feeding it, the baby kept growing, and we decided to recenter ourselves on what was working.
So what you guys sell exactly in Hsabati? Can you give us more details on about the solution? Like what is your offering today?
Of course. So Hsabati is, like I said, a management and financing platform. Basically, it's an ERP to run your day-to-day business.
Okay.
We don't do accounting. For a number of reasons, which we can go into later, and with our one of our big value adds is that you can customize it to your business. It's not something that that you have to follow. Hsabati gives you all the tools to create new modules, automations, anything you need to run your business like you want to run it, and not the other way around. And then once you start using the platform and you activate a special functionality, which is a financing functionality, you can get financing to grow your business faster, to help you run your business much more efficiently.
How did you do that? Because usually when we speak about developing a solution and make it tailor-made to the need, to make sure that this solution fits your process and your need, how did you manage to develop something that actually can be customizable to any type of needs in the market?
We trial and error, a lot of trial and error. It wasn't easy. Basically, what happened is that, like I said, I launched a number of different businesses. I helped people put in place a number of different pieces of software, and sometimes just the customization would cost 3, 4, 5 times what it costs to put up software in place. and basically I started to see patterns. I started to understand what people really needed, and we took we made certain decisions. Whereas when a client comes and asks for a certain functionality, we or if we want to develop a certain functionality, we try and put it in a way that it's very malleable. You can change it, you can morph it into whatever you need. And then when we want to develop something new, we start ask ourselves, one, is this something that's key that we need to develop from scratch, or is it something that we can put in place using the other tools that we're creating? So the automation engine, the small little artificial intelligence we have in there, the bricks and the bricks to create your own personal modules, all of that. We mix and match to create what our clients need, or we give it to our clients and they do it themselves.
So you basically took a kind of like you talked about the patterns, and you talk about the kind of the machine learning, like this is how things usually done by looking at all kind of different situations. Do you as well do some custom made in case someone, for example, comes to you and says no? So it's all done now through the software.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where do you see yourself the most, as a tech software guy, or you see yourself as a leader, business development manager, or the one driving the business? Where?
Well, I do drive the business. I do try and drive the business as much as possible. Today, we raised funds. We have investors. We have professional investors in the company. So I'm the face of the company. I don't like to put myself out there. I'm an introvert. So doing these kinds of shows, I'm not 100% comfortable. I'm not gonna lie, but for the good of the company, I do it. For the good of the business, and it's a business that I believe in. That thank God today we have a team. We have a team of about 20 people who believe in it, and they live, breathe, sleep, eat Hsabati. And we really want to help these companies, our clients, to grow, to better manage themselves, and to have an easier access to financing. Which all of these are problems that we had. And then just to get back to your question of how I see myself. So yeah, I lead it business-wise, finance-wise, but also product and tech-wise. I mean, I'm a tech guy at heart. I've been developing since I was 12, 13, 14, something like that. I didn't study it. I didn't study it in college. For the only reason is that I didn't think that I wanted to go to school for something that I wasn't gonna go and try and learn on my own. Maybe it was a good idea, maybe not. That's debatable. But basically, I tried to go try and learn business from other people, whereas the tech side I was learning for myself, and I didn't need anyone else to help me on that.
So when you moved to US, I mean, you finished your study there, then you came back to Morocco. That journey of going into the entrepreneurship, tell us about the basics that you had in mind and that you brought with you from the US, and by looking at the big ecosystem, the American one, and coming to Morocco and kind of like looking at the reality. What did you learn? What were the challenges there? How did you overcome them to reach the way you are actually today?
When I got back from the US, I had what we call I got smacked up, and basically I thought I knew everything. I worked in the US. I did some entrepreneurship. I did some consulting. I worked in a number of sectors. I was like, okay, I understand everything. I had the hubris of a young mind. I'll come back to Morocco, and I'm going to rule everything. I'm going to be the big honcho in business. I'll make it work. I get back here, and it's totally different mindset. It's totally different landscape. Everything's different, and everything I thought I knew, I didn't.
Not relevant.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's and honestly, yes, it was hard. It wasn't easy. But thank God for that, because right now, when I speak to people in different geographies, in different regions, or just in Morocco, if you go from one industry to another, there's certain industries in Morocco which are hyper modern, super well made, everything's. You're not in Morocco. You're not in Africa.
Different standards depending on different sectors, yeah.
And then you go to a completely different sector, and you're like, okay, same thing. You're not in Morocco. but you're 90 years back.
Yep. Yep.
And you have to adjust. You have to adjust to each.
Yep.
And
The approach to
exactly,
every single.
exactly.
Yeah.
And having to come back to Morocco after living in the U.S., working in the U.S., and thinking I knew everything, because I mean, like I said, I was a young guy. I come back. What are they going to teach me? These old people, they don't know what they're talking about. These guys don't know. I know it's how it works. And not even having, because I didn't have the humility, but having someone kick you down and show you, no, you don't know anything. This is not how it works. This is how it's gonna work.
Yeah. No.
And rebuilding yourself, and then fighting, and then getting up and getting back down. In Morocco, there's we don't have this culture of failure like in the U.S. In the U.S., failure is celebrated. It's a learning. In Morocco, it's not. Where we follow the French system. The French people, if you fail, oh my God, you're untouchable. You're radioactive. And basically, I had to. There isn't the structure in place to allow you to fail. So if you fail, you have to fail on your own terms. If you rebuild yourself, you have to do it on your own terms. And you have to get people to trust you again and again and again. All the while,
As someone that didn't succeed
exactly.
in the previous business.
Exactly. Or didn't succeed to the same standards that people expected. Because obviously when you're talking to clients, to investors, to friends, you're like, oh, yeah, no. $1 billion? That's nothing. I'll do it tomorrow. No,
Yep.
It's not easy.
Yep.
And basically you have to fight. It's an uphill battle. It's not easy. Every day is not easy. And you learn from what... you have to learn every day and continue on growing.
Yeah. Your company is based in Technopark.
Yes.
I think I will take this chance as well while we are on radio and we keep talking about that. I had the chance previously to interact with Technopark, and I see a lot of work, a lot of great things that they do there for startups and entrepreneurs. If I ask you a question, was Technopark as well a part, or played a part of your success as Hsabati as well? When I'm talking about Technopark, I'm not talking about Technopark itself, but I'm talking as well about the whole ecosystem. Was it something that enables the entrepreneurship?
It's starting. The startup ecosystem in Morocco has been in this starting phase for a couple of years now. But for a startup ecosystem to actually, I believe that's my own belief. For it to start and to grow, you need a number of things. Most notably, you need money, and you need people. The money part wasn't there. It just started emerging the past 4 or 5 years. So now we actually have funds that are willing to put in money into startups, into ideas, into PowerPoint. Well, maybe not PowerPoints, but into MVPs, and trust people. And not just trust people that they're going to try and do what they say, but trust them that even if they fail, they're going to try and find a way out. And then you need to find the people who are going to accompany you, because there's a saying in Morocco that one hand does not clap. You need two.
And they say it. It's not a matter of what you know; it's a matter of who you know.
Exactly.
That's the language of business. You always need someone to actually guide you.
Exactly. You need people to guide you. You need people to help you, because building
open doors as well. For
you can build a house alone. You're not going to build a great house. You're not going to build a big house. You can do it alone.
Well, not as fast as...
And you're not going to do it fast.
Yeah.
If you want to do it in an industrial scale, and that's what a startup is. A startup is a company that's going to grow really fast. So to do that, you need people to help you to grow, people to help you to get to a certain level. And I'm not saying that's missing, because fortunately, there's a lot of Moroccans at a lot of big startups around the world. And they've achieved amazing things. There's a new generation of Moroccans that's coming up that's amazing. I mean, I work with them every day, and there's a lot of amazing entrepreneurs. But you have to find the right people to help you. And Technopark, what's good about it is that you do have this coalescence, this place where all these people start to hang out, where employees go from one startup to another, where they learn. And it's like a bee. I take from this flower, this flower, this flower, this flower. And then when I go to the next flower, when I pollinate a certain flower, well, I bring a little bit from each one, and I make something new, and something better.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like as well to add something about Technopark. I've seen a lot. I'm following the communications that usually happen from Technopark, and I see that a lot of efforts have been put in place, to showcase basically the local companies based in Technopark. I see a lot of seminars. A lot of things I've done as well with the U.S. government. I've seen recently there were a lot of trainings done by university, one of the biggest universities in the U.S. To the leaders, or we will call you leaders because you are young, but you are leaders. There are a lot of things being deployed, and we cannot pass without encouraging that, because it's a small ecosystem, but with all the challenges that those small companies are there to survive. They are, when I enter Technopark, I see those companies as a small cell because they are so small. As well, the office space is extremely small,
yeah.
and you see it as a cell that tomorrow can become something else, and we see a lot of success stories.
There's a lot of good, like I said, there's a lot of amazing entrepreneurs, there's a lot of amazing people. There's the whole ecosystem is starting to grow, and what's good when you have a blank canvas is that you can paint anything. You're not constrained by what's already there.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I just wanted to interject there.
No, it's fine. My question was, you actually learned from I will not say the hard way, because that's the way. There is no other way. There is no hard way. There is one single way to learn. So you learn that challenges are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And to survive, you have no other choice except doing A, B, C, D, E, F, etc. In that ecosystem, how do you see the others as well surviving? How did you see the others succeeding and moved ahead? I'm not talking about Hsabati, but I'm talking as well about your counterpart, your colleagues, your neighbors in the startup world. Yeah.
Each person has their own, each company has their own pathway forward. The thing is, one, you have to be an optimist. You have to dream.
Yep.
You can't be someone who's pessimistic, who's going to be, oh, everything's going to die, everything's bad. No, you have to be optimistic. You have to believe in what you're doing. You have to produce value somewhere, because or else you're not making money.
Absolutely.
There's not just in Morocco, but around the world, there's a lot of people who I think the term they call them is wantrepreneurs. They want to start, they want to do, but it's just ideas, and they're not creating anything.
Yeah.
And basically, once you start creating it, it's addicting. You start. One, you don't believe that what you're creating is valuable because you made it.
Yep.
I mean, we all remember what anything we do, and we're like, yeah, but it's not that great. I mean, I see all the flaws, whereas other people are like, oh my God, that's amazing. And you have to sometimes have that ego. We're like, yeah, I did that.
If you don't mind me asking, who are your clients today? Do you usually work with government entities, with private sector, with modern private sector? Who do you work with?
We work exclusively with companies, with SMBs, so small, medium businesses.
Okay.
We have small companies that do $30,000-$40,000 a year in revenue, and we have big businesses that do $30, $40, $50 million in revenue. So we really have the whole spectrum of the economy. I mean, we can see everything. We have a macro view of the economy. We can see everything from the small guy who has maybe is alone, maybe has one employee, to the big company who has 100, 150 employees.
Okay. When you go and you do your sales pitch to a company, what do you focus on the most? I'm talking mainly, and to give the audience the way to learn basically about the digitalization in general. What's the return on investment from your solution when you go and you try to sell them the solution?
We focus on them. We don't focus on us.
Okay.
It's their needs. I mean, end of the day, like I said, we need to create value.
Okay.
We have hypotheses, we have ideas, but they have needs. They have a problem that needs to be solved. It can be they have problems in their inventory. They sell perishable goods, and they don't know who they sold to, when they sold to, how, why, when. Maybe they have problems with with getting paid. So finding out who pays them when. They're selling into companies that pay them, but pay them very late, and then they have to manage their their cash flow so as not to die. So it really depends on the company's needs. And the like I said, our software is very malleable. Our platform is very malleable, very adaptable, and the client adapts it for their needs.
Another question, which is a bit far from what we're saying, how do you define the investment scope in startups in Morocco? So you're launching a startup. Was it very difficult to raise funding?
Yes.
How did it work?
It was. I mean, it's gotten easier. It's gotten a lot easier. I mean, I started raising funds in 2014, 2015.
Okay.
For another startup.
Okay.
I mean, it gets easier with time. It's a muscle that it's a muscle that you exercise.
Yep.
And the more you do it, the better you get at it. But also the whole environment is a lot easier. Whereas before, international funds would not invest in Morocco.
Okay.
Today they're opening up to investing in Morocco. Okay. They see that there's a lot of potential. Morocco is a launch pad into Africa. It's a stable launch pad.
Okay.
So you by being in Morocco, by being a Moroccan company or having a Moroccan subsidiary, you remove a lot of the political risk, a lot of the country risk, the continent risk that you have that you would have if you go directly into other countries. And there's a legal system that's based off of a European, so a French legal system, so it's pretty much understood. We have a good court system. I mean, I'm not saying we don't have problems, but we have a lot less problems than a lot of our neighbors. And right now, the funding environment, like I said, it's growing. I want to say 5 years ago, we had one fund investing in startups. Today we have around 10, and these are local funds. You have 5 years ago, I think there was 5-6 international funds that were investing in Morocco. Today there's like 50 or 60. So it's growing, it's changing. It's not where we want it to be. It's not where it should be, but it's getting there.
What is your advice to entrepreneurs if they would like to raise funding? What they should be focusing on the most? In terms of preparing their product, because I consider the whole company is a product by itself.
Yeah.
And you come and pitch in with it. What they should focus? Which areas they should actually?
They should focus on their clients, on giving something to their clients that their clients are willing to pay for. Because at the end of the day, an investor wants to make money. They're not there to give you money. They're not there to do anything else but make money. And you have to understand that it's a question of incentives. On both sides of the equation, the investor wants to give you money so that you can grow, and then you can give him a lot of money back. Because in startups, in venture capital, in general, they say that 90, maybe 95% of companies die, make no money back, and then out of the 5% that's left, you have maybe 3, 4, 2% that make some or just their money back.
Yep.
And then you have the rest that are the breakouts that cover everything else that you invested.
They should compensate for the whole 95%.
Exactly.
Where you lost the money.
For the whole 100%.
Yep.
They should compensate for everything, and that's what's going to give the value add for the investor. For the people giving them the money, what's called LP, so limited partners, etc.
Yep.
And then on the other side, for these people to give you money to help you grow, you need to have people who are willing to give you money to solve a problem.
Yeah.
So if you're not solving a problem for your clients, if you're selling, if you're selling ice cubes to Eskimos, I mean, it's great. You might sell some.
Yep.
But you'll never make a company big. Exactly. It's not going to be sustainable.
Yep.
And it's not going to be a company that's going to have this criteria of bringing back the whole fund for the investor.
Yep. My other question to you, Saad, regarding the access to data, and it keeps actually coming back in terms of the discussion that we have as well with our guests. Then when you are launching a business in Morocco, for example, you are launching now. You launched an ERP many years back now, and I think you are learning about the data while you're doing the business. So that means when you come, you don't know who are your competitors, what's the market share that they have, how big is the size, how big size is that market share in terms of value and volume, etc. Was it difficult for you, for example, to understand the ecosystem for the ERPs or specifically for your products?
Yeah, I mean, the access to data is a big problem, not just in Morocco. Generally, I mean, in any market you go into, there's certain people who have specialized knowledge, and they're not willing to give it to you
Unless you
for
pay a
free.
lot of money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So getting the data you need is not easy. You need to have some faith. Like I said, you need to provide value, so you need to jump in and just try. I mean, I've launched products, other products that had zero traction. Most notably in data protection. We tried launching a product for GDPR protection, so in the EU market.
Yep.
We missed it completely, and that was not what people wanted. People wanted a checkbox, and we gave them a checkbox so that the government was like, okay, yeah, you're good, you can work. And what we tried to give them is, I mean, but there's no analogy that we were completely out of scope. And then there's other things where we just launched it as a joke. I mean, right now I have a company. I don't run it, but I have a company that I launched. That's the first media distributor, online newspaper distributor in Morocco. The only one, actually, to my knowledge. So don't quote me on that. But we launched it as a joke a couple of years ago, just because I love reading. I love reading, and one guy, I was like, yeah, there's this service that I really like. I'd love to build it. He's like, oh, I'd love that service too. I'm like, you know what? I'll do it. And I did it, and the company's still here. 6-7 years later, it's making money. It's not making a whole lot of money, but it's working. It's paying people. People have a livelihood out of it. So you just have to start. You have to try.
100%. I think businesses is always, you can put the best business plan and business model, but what's going to define you is faith, a little bit of luck as well. Then,
a lot.
Yeah, I believe.
No, but you can create your own luck.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Thing.
That's for sure. And the response from the market will all be in as a mindset of how you're driving it, because we talked about it in the studio before actually kicking off the show for today, and we mentioned, you can surf on positive vibes, or you can surf on negative vibes.
Exactly.
You can come with an idea and you can say, well, you know what, I'm going to make this one succeed. I sleep by thinking it's going to happen, and I wake up the next day by thinking it's going to happen. One day it's going to happen. That's the only way you can actually make it. So Hsabati is for Morocco at the moment, or are you willing to take actually this?
We have clients in other countries. It's
very
just
good.
We don't advertise there yet. We haven't started advertising yet. We just launched our financing solution, and we really believe that's a core part of our products offering. So we wanted to finalize it. We wanted to make sure that the process was well made, was done well, and then launch in other countries.
My next question to you, Saad, is regarding the entrepreneurship in Morocco. You learned a lot, and what do you think can be done better to encourage entrepreneurs like yours, like your profile, and become more successful?
So I think it starts from a very young age. I mean, when you look at an American school versus a French school or Moroccan school for that matter, in the American school, when they want to go on a trip, when they have a sporting event, they tell the students to go home, bake something, and have a bake sale to raise money for that trip. Yeah. Whereas in the French system or in the Moroccan system, it's like, oh, go call your parents, tell them to give you money so that you can go on the trip. It's this whole mindset of do it yourself. It's not asking for money. I'm not entitled to anything.
Yeah.
So I really think it starts from a very young age, pushing kids to learn that the value of money, to learn how to make money, and why it's important to make money. Because money in and of itself is not important. It's a means. and there's always this problem with people who, I don't want to say people like that, but when you don't learn the value of money, you don't learn the value of creating money or how to create money, and it was just given to you, you don't appreciate what it can do for you, and you don't appreciate the hard work that was given, what was done to make it. So afterwards, when you're grown up and you want to do something of your own, you don't know how hard it is, and then as soon as it starts getting hard, a lot of people, and I'm just saying, it's not just about Morocco, it's about, I mean, you have the same problem everywhere in the world, but a lot of people, when it starts getting hard, they stop. And they need to understand that, yes, it's hard, it's not easy, it's a very hard journey, there's a lot of crying, there's a lot of problems, there's a lot of difficulty. But if you see it through, if you go until the end, well, normally, and if you do it correctly, and if you have good ideas, if you're trying to do stuff correctly, you should achieve something that's positive. Then again, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. There's people for whom making money is not a priority. There's people for whom they want to give stuff away. They want to do it for free. For them, the message is more important. What they're making is more important than making money off of it.
Well, thank you very much. I just want to ask you one last question. What are your plans, Mr. Saad, in the next coming years? Are you developing something else besides Hsabati on the side? Or?
No. I've like I said, I raised money from investors. I promised I have a moral contract with them. If I have a real contract with them, but I have a moral contract with my clients, with my employees, with my family, who's seen me through a lot of stuff for the past few years. We need to make Hsabati a huge success, and that's my promise to them. We're trying to make a decade-defining company. We want a company that's big, that does something good, that has a lot of value add. I know I said that a lot, but we always come back to that. How are we helping people grow? How are we helping people finance themselves? How are we helping people achieve their goals? And when they achieve their goals, we achieve ours. Because if a client is happy, the year after that, we sell subscriptions. The year after that, they're still giving us money. We've had clients now for 4 or 5 years that give us money every year. So
satisfied.
God. Yeah, so they're satisfied. Yep. And that's the goal. Yeah, we want something that we still haven't had a real breakout internet digital company in Morocco or really in Africa. We've had a couple mid-sized successes. We haven't had a Google-sized success or an Amazon-sized success, and we're hoping to be one of the first ones, if not the first one.
I think in Africa now, all eyes are on us because after the World Cup and the success of the World Cup, I think everything now, people they actually believe that everything is possible.
Everything is possible.
You can do, if you believe in yourself, if you believe in the competencies that you have, if you believe in the asset that you have, if you believe in the human capital that we have, we definitely can achieve something. What is your last advice to struggling entrepreneurs or startups that they're just starting at the moment? I can see you so far by raising the capital, by having actually a round of investors with you. I believe that to reach that level, you are a successful entrepreneur. How do you actually, or what are your advices to people that they are at the early stage and they are going into the business venture?
Thank you for the kind words. I don't believe I'm successful yet. I mean, there's
you survived since 2019. That's very successful. I can tell you, in entrepreneurship, to survive 2019 and to survive Corona and to raise capital and to have people with you, that's success.
Thank you. I've been doing this for 10 years, for 12 years now.
Yeah. Yep.
And there's a person that told me one day, he's like, I don't count myself having won money until the client pays me, the money is in my account, I take the money back out and I spend it. That's when I won the money. As long as I haven't spent it on something for me, I did not make anything.
It's still not me. Yeah.
So yeah, but my advice for people people who are struggling is that one, it gets easier. It doesn't. It gets easier as in the problems you have today. Yeah. You're going to look at them in 4 or 5 years and you'll be like, wow, I wish I had those problems. Those are easy problems. What's good is that there's always problems.
As growing you get, as your problems
Exactly.
get
I mean,
well. Yeah.
I mean, look at Facebook. Facebook is a $100 billion company, and they have problems.
Yeah.
So if at their level they're having problems, yours are relatively nice.
Yeah.
What you can take solace in, if you still haven't raised money, if you're still working, if you're still trying to find your product, is that you're still trying to find your product. You still have the possibility to change. Don't be scared to change. Don't be scared to try something out. And that's really my advice. That's always been my advice: is start and try.
Well, thank you very much, Saad. Thank you for coming today. It was a real pleasure doing this Good Morning Morocco session with you. And again, we would like to remind our audience that today's session was with Mr. Saad KEMMOU, the CEO of Hsabati. And I will remind the audience as well, if they would like to learn about Hsabati, it's hsabati.ma
or
.com. They are both actually websites, and that's an amazing ERP that we actually recommend all our audience to go ahead and check it out, especially the SMEs and the small medium enterprises. Thank you very much. Do you have any other words that we would like to mention before the end of today's session?
Yeah, I mean, you spoke about the World Cup. There's two things that came out of the World Cup that were very that I loved. They said, well, I'll say it in Arabic, dir niya. So have faith, and good things will happen.
Yep.
And the second thing was impossible is not Moroccan.
Absolutely. So,
yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank
Saad. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and we will be back right after the music break. Stay tuned with us.